Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility.
Bittersweet moment, because if you're not a manga reader, then of course you've been waiting for the animation, and we finally got it, and it was, I guess I would say it lived up to the standards of what we wanted.
Yeah, man,
Uh,
absolutely. It's right now. It's almost like shot for shot, which is really great. They're not taking any like liberties on it, like other mangas and other adaptations. So
yeah,
it's almost shot for shot right now. Like comic book to manga, anime to manga. Sorry, it's
yeah.
showing shot by shot. So yeah, it was a real nice one. Yeah, absolutely.
There was a it was a, I guess, two episodes, but it really was the with the intros and all that, like we've talked about. But they did a little bit better,
30,
I felt.
30 minute finale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It gave us a lot though to be on a cliffhanger, I guess, until it comes back. I believe the release date for it's what, July, or when it comes back. I believe it's like June or
Yeah.
yeah. I know
No,
it's in
no,
the
no.
summer.
Yeah,
It's in,
July 23. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, but it was kind of cool because you start to see. I mean, of course, you know already that most of the Soul Society got pretty much beat up the whole few episodes, and so you start seeing them venture back into, I guess, their roots and where they came from, and figuring out like, yo, I need to go back and get this knowledge that I used to use back in the day. And you start to see a few of the captains, I guess, I don't want to say humble themselves, but they realize, I guess, like, yo, I need to figure something out, because they know the war's coming. Like, they pretty much just were like, hey, we're done for now. We'll come back later and beat you later on.
So I found it in the sense that they relied on their bankai too
Yeah,
much. So it was like they used it as a crutch, right?
yeah,
So there were other abilities and other styles that could push them to the next level, but they relied on the bankai as a like their de facto all end all be all weapon choice, right?
yeah,
So it turned out that when that bankai was taken away, it exposes a lot of their flaws. So that being said, like what's her name? Ooh, dang, it starts with an F. Feng Shui, or man, forgot her name. And so she started went back to like straight up training, right? Because that
oh
was
yeah,
like her main thing before she learned her bankai was that
yeah,
she was an elite ninja. Well, she kind of relaxed because she relied it on that bankai to do all the death touch.
yeah,
So that being said, it really exposes their openness. But the one I found interesting was when what's his name went back to, um, man, and look at this, man. We're all bad because I got these guys' names pulled up and stuff like that. You see, this is real time, people. uh,
that's all right.
what's it called? The dog one, and I keep
Yeah,
forgetting.
I can't
Uh,
remember it. I know what you're talking about, where he went to his elder pretty much and was
oh,
talking.
Saji. Yeah,
Yeah,
there it goes. Sajin. And I knew it started with a K, but his last name, Komamura. Komamura. So he went over there, and I found that very interesting. The conversation he had with the elder dog, his elder, because they were like, he was like, we're neutral, it don't matter who rules the world or who rules the time, we're always going to be who we are,
yeah,
and Tetsu was like, hey, that's not right because we're actually more involved than anything. I'm a captain. I'm in the mix. So if I'm gonna have to fight, I'm not gonna fight for my clan because I have a new clan now. My clan is, the Sedate. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm gonna fight. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be real good to know. You see where his thing comes from, or his art goes and everything. And
Yeah, because
man, I'm
I
trying to
mean,
figure.
pretty much
Oh, go ahead.
he had told him like, hey, I want to know our secrets, and he's like, you disowned us, like you used to pretend you were human this whole time, and now you want to know because things are getting like crucial, and he pretty much tells him like, hey, I'm done talking to you, and he's like, no, we're gonna fight until you show me these secrets, which is kind of a different side of him, I would say we've seen from now. But I guess when you're pushed against the wall and you know what's coming towards you, um, you're gonna go all out. I mean, you had probably one of the baddest ones in Bakuga, Byakuga, pretty much just probably the fan favorite, get demolished in like
Oh, Bianca, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like get demolished in a few seconds. So then everybody's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I
Well, he
guess.
didn't get it. Well, I mean, remember, like,
Yeah,
he got his Bankai used against him, right?
yeah,
It's already an elite Bankai, right?
I know.
But
Yeah,
at the
but
same, yeah, go ahead.
no, but I'm just saying, like it's you see like some of the top ones that you're like, oh man, they're gonna dominate, and they just yeah, no, but like you said, they relied on it so much that they're like, oh man, I'm just gonna use it and I'm done, and they realized like they couldn't do it, and one of the interesting things was captain of the ninth division, Kinsei,
Oh
whenever
yeah, yeah. Can say
when he had
yeah.
told
Uh huh.
his when he was talking about I guess the past captain, oh my gosh, what's his name, the one that was with Aizen and again Tozen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tozen.
Yeah,
Well, he
yeah,
took
he was
over Tozen's spot.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
he was like, I'm not as soft as Tozen or something, and you could see the rage from from his vice captain, like
Right, Muduguru,
yeah,
Muduguruma. Sorry.
and so you see them put like touching nerves and everything, and then Toshido pretty much went back to the basics of fighting with his sword and everything. So
Right. No, so I think the whole issue with Tozen, right, was that his goals were like kind of like just,
yeah,
in the sense like he's doing it to make a reform a better soul society because he was brought up in a very bad light. Like he
yeah,
was abused and got his eyes acid out or burned out. Or I can't remember which one it was. And so that therefore, he didn't want that to happen to anybody else, right? That's why he's like, hey, let's make a perfect soul society. And then so that's why whenever he said that to him, he was just like, when he said it to Shuhei, Shuhei was like, hey, like, no, man, like you can't say that about Tozen, man, because
yeah,
he has a reason why he's doing it. I mean, bad that it is, he
yeah.
still has a reason why he's doing it. He's not doing this aimlessly.
Yeah,
And but I think Kinsei did it on purpose to really fire him up to get his Bankai because now they're getting all the lieutenants. Because remember, before lieutenants are not allowed to have Bankais, right? It's
yeah.
only the captains, right? So, but I think, man, to be, I think Kinsen knows that Shuhei already has his Bankai because I think he already has his Bankai, right? I think he released it
I'm
in, he released
yeah,
the Bankai in the old episode, old Bleach, original Bleach.
yeah. I want to
So
say he did, if I remember right.
yeah, yeah, because I thought like a lot of the lieutenants already had Bankais, and they
Yeah,
were
a
like,
lot of them already did. I know the one with the two axes on the side and the
yeah,
axe. Yeah, and then yeah, there's
and
been a
then
few of
what's
them
his
that
name,
did it.
bald headed one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the bald headed dude with his I like his. His is pretty cool. With the whole big ass or big
yeah,
ass weight axe on his head or some Chinese axe or something like that. So I think like a Ikaku. I think like they already have their Bankai. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. Um,
I believe he was the one that had the chain, right? It was like I guess I don't want to say a sickle, but like a sickle with the chain or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's right. Right, he did have his
yeah,
Bankai,
yeah.
right?
He did. Yeah,
So yeah, and I thought Kenson knew that because weren't they buddies, right?
yeah. Well,
Like,
maybe I think what he meant was more of like I want you to master it because I guess like we said with some of the top captains that relied on it so much got theirs stolen. If you there's man, it was kind of confusing because it made it sound like he wanted him to learn it, but he already knows it. So maybe that's awakening it to another level or something of that nature.
right. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm reading through the synopsis real quick.
Yeah, because I know Renji has his, of course, and then
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Kaku has
So
his.
they wanted them to Matt. He wants his the master, the Bankai. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he feels like he had mastered it. Yeah, she. So yeah, so they pulled out the little girl, who is Mashiro Kuna.
yeah.
Mashiro
The one
Kuna
with
jumps
the
down. Yeah, with the hollow mask to
yeah.
activate it. She's a super lieutenant, is what they're calling them now. Yeah.
It,
So he said he's not gonna be. So it says here. It says reminding Hisa guy. He told him to be careful. He goes. Kensei asked him if he thinks he will not kill him, since he is not as gentle as Tosin. Asking his captain to wait, Hisa guy explains he has always looked up to him and respected him, but he has no right to badmouth the former captain Tosin. Yeah, because that's what I told you. Like Tozen was flawed as his thinking is. He was justified,
yeah.
or he's not justified, but he's in his mind. He's justified for what he's doing.
It reminds me kind of
So
like Thanos a little bit. Like, it sounds crazy, but now where we're at, I kind of understand it. But
with Thanos,
it's like,
oh, okay, I don't want to read too far into it because it's giving this whole arc and everything.
yeah, that's why I'm looking up some stuff and I'm like, nah, I don't know. That's a little too much.
Yeah, and then Toshido goes back into training.
Yeah,
Going back into his prodigy state of training. So, and then
yeah.
who else do we see go? Soifon, she was training too, and I think that was it, man. The whole 10 minutes of the episode. Those
Yeah,
were the two
my
fastest.
what's his name? Mayaru or Mayaru, the doctor, the one that's always doing experiments.
Oh yeah,
Division 12 or 12th Division. I was always wondering. He's always one that's intrigued me, and I know they really didn't show anything. They just showed him kind of working on something. But I noticed at the very end they showed a glimpse of him in like a new form or something. It was either the very end or the sneak peek that they gave us. I believe he's like in a gold form. I saw it. He's like sitting on like a throne or something. It looked like, but he reminds me of kind of like Golden Frieza, but
okay, yeah. All right, I see it now. So it shows like a Quincy emblem, and then it shows Miura on a throne looking like a golden god.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. Now I remember. saw. And I think the next one is coming Separation. It's called Separation. Yeah. Nice. Oh man. We'll see what happens, man. Hopefully July of 2023 is when it comes back out. Well, at least we don't have to wait too long. 6 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it's not like other animes where they're 2 years later.
Oh, what Chainsaw Man? We just found out right now, like almost
Yeah,
next year, whole entire year. Oh Lord.
yeah,
So yeah, man. So that's gonna be a good one. Uh, so that was so third. So we were talking about 14, episode 14.
I just put them together, bro. I mean,
Episode 13 was him basically still learning about his mom, the death of his mom, and everything, all the
yeah,
ins and outs, what happened. She was actually high level Quincy. They call it blue veins, like
yeah,
some healing factor blue veins that was actually healing him in battle. So that's how he's able to sustain. Well, that's how he's able to sustain the hollow form is by using his blue vein Quincy blood, and that's what's not tearing him apart. And so that being said, I think Eisen figured that out, and that's why he used that. But just to give a little insight, so when the Hollow bit his mom, uh,
yeah,
Bleach's mom, and or Bleach's mom, Ichigo's mom, when it bit Ichigo's mom, that soul, that hollow soul, transferred itself into Ichigo. So like he's bonded with that soul now. So now they're like they're one and the same. So that's what makes him like he's able to travel to the Soul Society with no issues. Because humans can't travel to the Soul Society. So that's
yeah,
how he's able to do it, right? Is because he has that hollow blood in him. And so therefore he also has the Quincy blood that's like basically protecting him. And his mom, I guess Yahweh, whenever in the end, the 998 years of solid like confinement, I guess. He finally regained his strength, but he was like, okay, we're gonna take everybody on, but how we're gonna do it is by he sucked up all the half Quincy blood out there. So that's why when they attacked the Soul Society, they were able to destroy or take over the Shimigamis, which is like Soul Reapers.
yeah,
That's why they were able to take them out was because they're all pure blood. They're all pure blood. They're all pure blood of Quincy's. So their power levels are like magnified.
yeah.
So that's why they were able to take over. That's why I was wondering, like, man, how are Quincy's able, like, because Yudoha was having a damn difficult time when he was out
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
fighting Quincy's,
yeah,
and or not Quincy when he was out there fighting with Ichigo. Remember when they broke into the Soul Society? Like he was having the hardest time, man. And but over here, these guys were just like left and right. Like, man, this is even the like underlings, the foot soldiers were like, these guys are
yeah.
nothing,
They're just
So
destroying them.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that being said, yeah, it was a good one.
it was kind
Uh,
of cool also to figure out the truth of how his mom, I guess, passed with, like you said, them taking her powers and everything.
right. Yeah.
And
So yeah, because his dad was like, nah, that dude like whole Ichigo first episode arc,
yeah,
the first like 10 episodes arc was him going up against that hollow,
yeah,
and he was like, nah, man, your mom would have took that hollow out like nothing.
nothing.
But he was like, but all her power was gone,
Yeah,
and that's what happened. Same thing with Yudaha's mom, all her power was taken away, and she passed away as well,
yeah,
So yeah, man, so they got them both, but yeah, I guess like in the sense that when Yahweh absorbed I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, man. It's really difficult, man. I can't catch their
All
Japanese way
these,
they say it, nor the English way that's being
yeah.
said. It's like Jacques Bach or Jacques Bach or Bach, something like that. Jacques Bach.
I went to
And
videos to look at it, and like five different people said it different ways, and I was like,
yeah, yeah, it's like really, really hard. It's like half, half ancient. What do you call it? Aramaic, and then
yeah,
the other half is like German. So it's like Hya, it's J, the like you pronounce it Jus, and then the last portion like it's Bach, like the
right.
composer Bach. So it's like Hya Bach. It's that like how you almost say it. And so yeah, I guess like he retains the memories. Like so, like when he absorbed Yudahara, mother's like he got her memory, so he was able to like snuff out Yudahara. In the very end, he brought spoiler alerts if you haven't watched it or read it. Yudahara ends up like in the Soul Society, in the Wakamundo capital, like basically trying to become a full-fledged Quincy,
Yeah,
and then but then at the same time, he absorbed it and learned about Ichigo, and Ichigo's unique circumstance, so yeah, so Ichigo, and then that whole Zetsu part, man, oh man, that was awesome, man.
that
That
was
whole Zetsu part, man, like it when I saw him for the first time, Yakba, when I saw him, I was like, damn, that looks like Zetsu, doesn't it? I was
yeah,
like, I kind of like looked at it and was like, dude, yeah, man, I've seen that look before when he was walking. I was like, man, where have I seen that look before? And I didn't like nowhere near like I was like, what the heck? So yeah, man, that was a good crossover. That was a good like awakening, little portion in there. I like that.
it, and it makes sense of how whenever they were telling him like you're gonna lose your Zanbakuto like as you know it, and he kind
Right.
of really didn't understand it until this episode when you realize like, oh, that's why. Okay, because it's really I really have both powers of Quincy and of it, and it's kind of cool like how they kept this. They told you the story of like how when he got his Zanpakuto, of course, and then whenever he got like when they were fighting each other because he's like, I didn't want you to become a Soul Reaper, but you chose that, and you know now this is where we're at, and I'm not an enemy or an ally. Just a part of it, and
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So he goes, Zetsu. Well, we don't even know his name, right?
yeah,
It's like it's his Quincy powers. So it was his
yeah,
Hollow powers and his Quincy powers, right? And then he basically he told him, I'm neither this guy Shakbot, and I am him and I'm not him, right? Because I'm
yeah.
neither, right? And then he goes, and so allegory of Buddhism, man. I was reading something about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of I am and I am not. So like there's an Indian Buddhist that basically predates what Buddhism is now. It basically laid out his path. So his whole philosophy was I am and I am not.
Yeah.
So I am part of the universe, but I am not part of the universe. Is basically so that whole Buddhism tied in thing. I was like, oh, okay, I get where they're coming from with that. So that being said, so he goes, I am him, I am not that, but I'm Quincy blood, right? I'm your Quincy powers, right? So
Yeah.
you couldn't access it because I was blocking it because you wanted. He was like, if you were to become a Shimigami, which a Soul Reaper, right? If you were to become a Soul Reaper, I would have to kill you. And he goes, but out of your determination and just sheer will of hard work, like prove that you whatever you become, you're gonna be able to handle whatever you want. So he was like, let me relinquish my power, give you back your whole power. So then that's whenever he turns into the blade, and Ichigo pulls it out. And I still think so. I saw a family tree on Ichigo. They're not related to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yamamoto. Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
man, man, it had to be, like I was like, it has to be, but now I saw the family tree. They're not related to it, unless it like comes out in the future, like like they write it out like that. But yeah, as far as this is, nah, they're not related. So that was sad because that was my theory. But yeah, so he pulls out his sword out of the forge and then quenches it, and then like evaporates the entire lake. So basically, it's like signifying like that's how much power the sword has, or his Zanbakuto has,
Yeah.
and it's a two for Zanbakuto, which kind of cheapens it because Ichigo has always been a single-handed sword fighter, or not single, a single sword fighter, and to cut it to be like a two-handed, kind of like I was like kind of like I get it. They're trying to be like, oh, it's one representing,
Yeah, it says is the larger blade represents his Zangetsu, and the shorter blade represents the. They say the manifestation is what they say,
a
but
manifestation of whom?
I'm guessing of the Quincy side of it. Of that's what they're on.
Oh,
A
okay,
lot of
okay,
the Bleach
gotcha.
stuff I'm reading is what they're calling it, the manifestation of his of I guess the Quincy soul, because everybody gets a part of the father of the original from what his dad
Right.
told him.
So hopefully, man. I mean, hopefully, but I understand that the God King is doing it to because Ichigo is like basically Jesus. He's going to be the liberator.
Yeah,
And that being said, Reggie got his back. But
yeah,
like, why wouldn't that guy go down there and restore all of their Zambatos? Like
yeah. It's kind of
kind of like don't make no damn sense. Like
yeah.
the
There's a
plot
few
hole
things.
in
Yeah,
there is huge. Like if the Gaki knows that Yahba is able to destroy to a certain point, even challenge the Soul King, right? Because it's already been established that he can challenge the Soul King, right? So why not
yeah,
arm your warriors? Why? It's like a whole Dragon Ball Z giving Sensu beans to sell. Like power up, right? Let me fight you at your back. Like, uh,
yeah. It's
I don't
very. There was a few things I was wondering that while he was making. He's like, I know everybody's by name, everybody's I've made,
right.
and I'm just like, you got like three people got theirs taken, and you're just like, nah, I'm like,
No, I think it was more than three. I think it was
yeah.
like four or five of them that lost their ability.
And I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
it's
because they did take who else did they take with them when the when the Zero Squad got there? They
a Zero Squad didn't get theirs taken away.
no, who did they remember when they were taking Ichigo and Renji to back to where they're at? They took like two people with them,
Right?
right?
No, no. Oh, they took Byaku because he was injured, and then
Yeah,
they took Renji and
and then
they took
Ichigo.
Ichigo. Right?
Okay, so maybe Byaku gets his back. I mean, maybe. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? That's a good point. I don't think Renji was supposed to go.
yeah,
But they were like, yeah, you're kicking ass power, so let's go to bring you along. You know,
it's like you got
so
some spunk kid. Yeah, it's. I mean, it leaves a good cliffhanger on, especially for both. You get the story of everything, and then you get of leading up to why. And I think the biggest cliffhanger. I mean, for anybody that I guess didn't hasn't read the manga yet, of course, is at the end of that you get Ishida basically pledging his like allegiance to the Quincy King, at the end of it.
You know, yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah. So, like, I already read past all that. So
yeah. No, that's why I'm trying to go back because I know people that watch this probably aren't there. We'll do another video when I catch up on mangas, but
yeah.
I know a lot of
Whatever.
people that watch some of the videos for anime. They don't read the mangas, and then the manga readers watch the videos on the manga stuff.
Yeah, man, I just like Bleach so much. I have a bad habit. Like I haven't read Chainsaw Man
Yeah.
all the way through. So like I was just like, oh, man, like I wish I had that much interest invested in Chainsaw Man. And it looks like Chainsaw Man is starting to look up.
Yeah.
Starting to look
No,
good.
it has. Pretty much that was the whole thing on Bleach, I believe. I mean, luckily we don't have to wait that long, like you said. July next year, a few
Right.
months away. It gives you some time to read the mangas if you want, and then you get to enjoy the animation of it. And by the time you read it and then you watch it, you'll probably forget most of it.
Well, I mean, it's almost happening like page for page right now. So, like I said, that's a really great thing because it's happening like it's almost like page by page, man. Like the way the anime is, just the way it's showing up,
Yeah.
and so I like it. It's really good, for Bleach.
All right, guys, you made it to this point of the video. Make sure you like, subscribe for all anime content coming up. You can also check out our anime content in our Facebook group down in the description. Much love. Peace.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.